Greetings in the precious name of the Lord Jesus. I am Bishop Joe Fierce, and I am here to continue in episode 3 on my series in Matthew chapter 24. Today we're going to be looking at verses 29 through 31 as we talk about what time is it. As I told you in my last session, I wanted to talk about these specific verses because of something that happened to me when I was a young child. Around the age of 7 or 8, may have been even younger, but it has left an indelible mark on me throughout my life. And it just impacted me so greatly because as far as I can remember, it was the first time I ever had a dream like that. And I don't even remember any other previous dream, but that dream to this very day, I can see it in my mind's eye as clear as it was happening. I want to read from the book of Matthew, verse 29, 30, and 31. So just bear with me. Immediately after the tribulation of those days, the sun will be darkened, and the moon will not give its light, and the stars will fall from heaven, and the powers of heaven will be shaken. Then will appear the sign of the Son of Man, and then all the tribes of the earth will mourn, and they will see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he will send out his angels with a loud trumpet call, and they will gather his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. Before I go into my dream, let me break down these verses. Now, it says immediately after the tribulation of those days. So up until this point, from verse 4 all the way to verse 28, he's told us about the tribulation. This is the tribulation time. He told us about the abomination of desolation. He told us about being in Judea and fleeing. He told us that if you're on the housetop, don't come out. He's told us that if women are with babes, woe unto you if it's winter. He told us about the Sabbath. He told us it was Judea. He was very specific because he was dealing with the Jews. And one of the main reasons that God is dealing with the Jewish nations is because God is a promise keeper. I've said it in a couple of videos before. I've even taught a series, one message on the replacement theology. The church has not replaced national Israel. There are things that God promised them forever, and God does not renege. The church has been engrafted, but the church has not taken the place of Israel. That's why the tribulation period is going to take place. Part of it, not the whole part, but is to get the Jews to come to the place where they cry out for the true Messiah. Because the Jews' Messiah is Jesus, but they don't think so. But the church has accepted him. But the whole thing seems crazy, but that's what part of the tribulation period is about. When Gabriel came and spoke to Daniel, he told Daniel, this is for your people. He says, 490 years have been determined for your people, Daniel. He told him this very clearly. In one of the books in the Bible, I think it's Jeremiah, it says it's the time of Jacob's trouble. Basically, the last 3.5 years of the tribulation period is going to be a time of Jacob's trouble. Trouble like they have not seen. Worse than that of what Hitler did when he exterminated some 6 million Jews. It is going to be worse. But it is going to happen, and Israel is going to be placed in a position to where they are going to cry out for the true Messiah. Once they understand, and once they realize that this guy is an impostor, that will be the Antichrist, when he does the abomination of desolation. So as we see here, he's telling them now once the tribulation of them days, he said the sun is going to be darkened and the moon is not going to be, it's going to be some things going down right before he comes. There's going to be a change. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute, about what he showed me. He showed me this as a 6, 7-year-old, maybe 8-year-old kid. He showed me this. I gave my heart to him actually at that time. Prior, my Aunt Louise was telling me about this man named Jesus and that you could live forever. And I, at that point, gave my heart to him because I just was fascinated that you could live forever, especially after seeing my grandmother, my great-grandmother had died. And that's my first experience of knowing what death was, to see a body that's still and the spirit is gone. So after all that, he says all these things are going to happen. The heavens are going, the powers of heaven are going to be shaken. I mean, right before when Jesus gets ready to come back, there's going to be a lot going on when Christ does come back. When all this stuff happens, when the sun is darkened and the moon doesn't give a light, and stars are falling, and the heavens are going to be shaken like a nuclear blast, probably. Boom! I don't know what it's going to be like, but it's going to be amazing. It's going to be frightening. And nevertheless, when he gets ready to enter into this atmosphere, to the earth atmosphere, the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, with the host of his angelic host and with his church, we're going to be coming back with him riding upon white horses. This is what's going to happen. But the scene on the earth is the Antichrist is going to be fighting. And the titans out of the east are going to trouble him. The Bible tells us this, that it's going to come against the Antichrist and it's going to revert his attention. He's going to go to war with them. He's going to beat them down. He's going to come back to totally annihilate those few Jews that are down in Petra. But at that time, after hearing those two prophets preach, after hearing about those 144,000 Jews that have been spread all over the world preaching the gospel, they're going to realize that Jesus Christ was their Messiah. And then they're going to call out for Yeshua HaMashiach. They're going to begin to cry out for him. And then the stage is going to be set. And while the Antichrist is getting ready to totally annihilate them, the heavens are going to be shaken. Jesus, the Son of God, with the host, the heavenly host, is going to come back riding white horses. And it's going to stop the Antichrist. In fact, he's going to annihilate the Antichrist. And he's going to shut the war down. And that's the second coming of Christ, when he comes back with his church to take over the planet. But this is the stage that's being set. I'm going to tell you what I saw. In verse 30, it says, then will appear the sign of the Son of Man. That's going to be a sign. And then all the tribes of the earth will mourn. You know why they're going to mourn? Because they're going to realize this is real. Like it might be people from my job. It might be people listening to me. They think I'm wacky. They think I'm crazy. It's below them, beneath them to hear such rhetoric. But the truth of the matter is, it doesn't matter, because what's going to happen, all those people that are going to be remaining on earth that survives all of that tribulation, it won't be as many people as some people think. It may be, I don't know how many it's going to be. I'm not going to give you a number, but it won't be a lot. But the thing is going to happen, those who remain are going to look up and they are going to see the sign. There's some things are going to happen. I'm going to tell you in a minute. And then in verse 31, and he will send out his angels with a loud trumpet call, and they will gather the elect. Now, what it is, again, we're talking about the Jews. Those remaining Jews that are scattered. It's not talking about the church. I know some people just make this the church, but it's not. It is not the church. The Jews are still scattered all over the earth. Christ is a Jew. Think about it. If you just think about who he is and the promises that God made and how they rejected him and how they got to receive him. Jesus said, I come in my Father's name, but another should come in his name and you will receive him. That will be the false one. That will be the Antichrist. That will be the man of sin, the son of perdition. But the Jews are going to come to their senses and they're going to mourn with the world. And Christ is going to send his angels to gather those Jews that are those natural Jews. It's not going to be supernatural. They're not going to be supernatural. They're going to be natural people. And the angels are going to gather them. Where do you think he's going to gather them? From the four winds, from all over the world. And he's going to take them back to their homeland. That is what's going to happen. I've set the stage for what's going on in these 3 verses. For my dream. In my dream, I remember the first thing I did when I was having this dream. I woke up, it was nighttime, and people were running all over the place. And it's like meteors were just falling down. Boom, boom, boom. It's hitting the earth, different places. I even thought that maybe I would get hit. But the Lord was letting me see this scene as I was looking and people were running. I'm like, where are y'all running? They said it's the end of the world. It's the end of the world. And they knew something was about to happen. And as I was looking at people trying to understand what was going on, I looked up to the heavens. And then that's when I saw how the atmosphere, it's like our Milky Way, it's going to shift when the Messiah comes back. I am telling you, it is going to be greater than watching Star Trek or Buck Rogers. It is going to be off what I call the chain when he comes back. He is coming back as a man of war to take over the planet that he created. And he's going to fulfill his promises. Because at that time, the Jews are going to cry out for him. They are going to say, Yeshua HaMashiach. They're going to be crying, save us. And he is going to come at the right moment, like he always does. But what I saw as I looked up, I saw I don't know how to put it. It was like a shift, like a dimensional shift is going to take place. And I began to see the most glorious smoke pouring in. I mean, it was just like billows of this white, super white clouds. I say smoke, but it was really clouds. They were so glorious. They was like glowing. I don't know how else to say it. They were like glowing white. That's all I can see. It was like the purest white that you could see. It was just phenomenal to me. I was stuck. I was in a trance watching this awesome sight. And the one thing that really got my attention was the fact that the sky ripped open, like somebody rolled it open, like I saw like what at the time I didn't know it, but as I got older, I understood it. When I began to read the Bible more and understand, it was exactly like John said. It was like a scroll, because the clouds, the pure white clouds began to, right from the center, they began to roll back like it was opening something, and they rolled back really fast. And I was stunned, and I saw this white horse come, and somebody was on the white horse. I believe it was Jesus, but I didn't want to see his face. And I said, Lord, this is where I screamed. I said, Lord, I don't want to see anymore. And I woke up in a sweat. And I will never forget that dream. He let me see the second coming. That's what it's going to be like. It is going to overwhelm the world. The world is going to think, wow. And the Antichrist and the armies are going to be fighting. And those that are with him are going to go to finish off Israel. And all of a sudden, they're going to shoot their little missiles up at us. And guess what? They're not going to work. Oh, death, where is your sting? Because they're not going to have any impact on us. We can't die anymore. We are now supernatural. And at that time, Jesus said with the word of his mouth, he's going to speak a word, and the Antichrist is going to be gone. The false prophet is going to be gone straight into the lake of fire. My Lord, it is going to happen. I know it sounds crazy. I know it sounds like Buck Rogers or Star Wars or Star Trek, but it is going to happen just like it says. So in my next episode, I want to talk to you about the fig tree, because there's a lot of people that have taken this scripture to mean that it's specifically talking about the generation. Some people believe it's the generation that he was talking to at that time, the apostles, the disciples, and all those. But that doesn't fit, and I'll tell you why. And then some people believe it's talking about when Israel became a nation. That could fit, and it might not. I'll tell you why. Stay tuned for episode 4.